is the Bloody Disgusting Podcast Network.
We're gonna carry on and plan the sequel, because let's face it, baby, these days, you gotta have a sequel.
And welcome back to Micro Queers. It's the whenever the fuck we do these now queer horror short roundups. And I'm Joe.
And I'm Trace, and we are closing out the year with a holiday special, specifically Especial de Navidad, directed by Bonzo Villegas. And we've got a fun drag queen Christmas horror musical short film for this week.
Yes, apparently we like to do musical shorts around the holidays, and happy holidays, everybody. So we thought that this would be a fun little festive way to close out the year. And I don't know, I'm interested to hear what you think of this short, Trace, because it is quite brief. Like we're talking about 7 minutes long. There's not a ton of narrative. I mean, you love a short film.
I love a short. Don't give me a 30-minute short, people.
Right. Well, there are some of those on the horizon, but yes, for now, 7 minutes. And the fun thing about this is that this is a short that was actually made as part of a competition. So they made this as part of a 72-hour short, like where you film it under a time constraint and you have to fill in an object. So in this case, it was a TV to another portal. And then they went off and made the short based on that.
Okay. And this is a TV portal to hell.
Yes. Yeah.
No, I really enjoy this. I mean, I wasn't familiar with these drag queens, unfortunately. But I thought this was just utterly delightful. With some really good effects, with some kind of funny. So I mean, it's not like the best production I've ever seen, but like it kind of fits. It fits the queer aesthetic, I'll say.
Very much so. And goddamn, if I don't love a short that ends with the girls more or less being forced to do the number from Mean Girls.
I wonder if they didn't do Jingle Bell Rock just because they were like, that's a little too on the nose. We'll do Poppy Santa.
Yeah. So folks, if you haven't seen this short, it's basically a trio of drag queens who on Christmas Eve are annoying the shit out of one of their moms. And they end up doing a Candyman style mirror call to Satan. And Trace, I've already forgotten it. I know we practiced it, but I can't remember.
El Diablo se la comí.
Yes. So you're...
The devil eats dick. If you say the devil eats dick 3 times into the mirror, he will appear. And lo and behold, he does.
Mm-hmm. And folks, if you want to replicate this in the mirror and film it and tag us, we would love that, because what a delightful way to close out the year.
Oh my God, please actually do that.
Yes.
I love that. This is not based on any outstanding urban legend, right? Like this is just something made up for this short.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. So they call to Satan. Satan appears. He presumably kills the parents, and then he locks the 3 girls in the TV set, but only after they basically give him nothing but shade and don't believe that he's real and just kind of talk back to him.
That's the thing. And like, there's not too much to analyze in this film because it's just a fun little 7-minute musical. Yeah. But again, we're going into religion here, and we have the devil who says, I was an angel, I was cast down to the bottom, and then the party started. So the devil is presented as this, like, not necessarily, kind of evil thing, because he does eat their mother's face, right. but he just wants to put on a show, and he wants to be respected for that. And when they say, what you're doing is not a show, they're gatekeeping, actually, the drag. Then he sicks his pet on them.
Yeah, and of course the pet is just a hot shirtless guy with horns.
Yes, like painted entirely black, like just like this like black oozy demon thing. Yeah. Who unfortunately we don't get any more fun practical effects a la the mother's face eating. So he just kind of like does this like finger wave at them, and then they just pass out.
I love it though. I love the simplicity and the kind of stupidity of just like the girls swooning over this hunky dude touching their boobs or face.
Yeah.
It was like, yeah, sure. That's what teenage girls would do. Well, I'm curious, what do you think of the costuming for Satan?
I mean, it's like Satan, slutty Satan Halloween costume-ish, just with some horns tacked on.
Yeah, I think one of the things that I appreciated was that this is a different kind of drag, right? Like it's obviously a man, but in a gender fluid kind of presentation. And because we've got the mustache, but then the outfitting has like a feminine kind of aesthetic and obviously like draggy hand motions. And I like the fluidity of that.
Well, and I mean, it feels especially relevant to the time we live in now because we're recording this a week after the cast for season 14 of RuPaul's Drag Race was announced. And we've got our first cisgender male heterosexual drag queen on this season. But I mean, in other countries, we've also had some bio queens on the show and drag kings. And I love that we're kind of expanding, at least in the mainstream, mainstream-ish.
It's pretty mainstream. We're now winning Emmys for this, so yes.
No, I know, but these things have always existed. They've just never been like on shows like this for a long time. So even within the realm of the queer community, it's kind of one of those things where it's like, oh, cool. Like it doesn't have to be just, gay cisgender men doing this. So that I love that we have this kind of alternate example of what drag can be here.
Yeah. And I mean, as you said, there's a lot of fun to this. It's a little bit flirty. It's a little bit silly. I mean, I think when you know the constraints that they're under, there's actually a reasonable amount of finesse and polish to this short. And as you said, it's just like, it's fun. You watch it and I don't know about you, but I definitely looked at it and thought, oh, given more time, given a bit of a bigger budget, I would really be interested to see like how much further they could stretch this idea out.
Yeah, just have like a fun, campy blast of a musical. Like that's all I need from this. And also I think that, I don't want to say poor production value, but it like some of the set design looks kind of stagey. That to me is part of its charm.
Yeah, especially when we get into the kind of fantasy sequence. Yeah, like
it's kind of like in a High School Musical whenever they just have like, the trees that are there, but they're just like wood that's cut out.
Yeah. We spent an hour, we painted a tree, and then we hid it in some dark-ish lighting.
So what you were saying is that you would watch a feature-length version of this movie.
I mean, I'd be curious to know if you could stretch it to a full feature length, but I would absolutely take a longer version of this. Like I could see animosity between the girls, or maybe they're outcasts at school because they're trying to have like a polished glam look. Like we could play with even like, are they presented in this world as women, or are they always like want to be drag queens and this is part of their art?
So it'd be like a Pen 15 or like Summer Heights High thing where it's like they're adults, but they're playing like 15.
Yes. And maybe they're like drag queens, but they're playing real girls in the role. Yes.
I think that's the way you have to go with this. Well, no. And I mean, again, it's essentially a Candyman / Bloody Mary premise. Yeah. So do something like that. I mean, just like, I don't know, have one of them investigated and like get sucked into the void.
Right. Yeah. I don't know. I think there's lots of potential.
Yeah. For a 7-minute short, again, you can grasp onto any tiny detail and stretch it out. The trick is just to not make it feel stretched out.
Right. Yeah.
Well, listeners, let us know what you thought of Especial de Navidad and what you thought of all these awesome little tidbits in it. I mean, again, it's just camp-tastic Christmas cheer. Yeah. Lots of fun and a delightful way to close out the year. I agree. So until next time, which means until 2022, we can cross out Especial de Navidad. And cross out microqueers.
Hello, I'm Shelby Scott, the host of Scare You to Sleep, a podcast where I tell you spooky bedtime stories full of creepy sound effects and music that is soothing yet unsettling to help immerse you into a world of horror. This is a show for those of us who have realized horror can be a strange but relaxing escape from reality. Speaking of escapes, sometimes I lead you through guided nightmares, like a guided meditation, but instead of flowery meadows, I take you on a journey through your own personal nightmare. So come get lost in the terror with me. Listen to Scare You to Sleep wherever you listen to podcasts, or find us online at bloody.fm. sweet screams,